Aewuo nanu are enkitong naewuo aiteru enaang nalotu aton metorikuni enkaini ai neitokini ariku enkae na yiok pikira kumok kitii enkang nabo metaa nai naipar ajoki pakanyoo ntaipaye pimiyieunono onkaini miyieu orpayian netii enkaini.
Technically, a Maasai man can have as many wives as he wants to. Now, the concept of polygamy has always intrigued me because it is so foreign and so different from what I was taught about love and marriage in the Western culture. You know, that notion where two individuals come together as two pieces of a whole to complete each other in perfect romance and harmony. That is just so different from what happens here. So I've come out here all the way to this Tanzanian village, a Maasai village, to learn a little bit more about what it's like to have co-wives. So this is Yayai. And I met Yayai through Stephanie, her daughter-in-law. And Yayai has agreed to explain to me about Maasai marriage, how it works and what it's like to have a husband who has other wives.
Ara nanu Penina naing'ua apa atua irmaasai tidie apa kimanya paalotu enakop. Aata nanu nkera isiet neeta enkaini ai napishana neeta enkai ile nikiyaku duo iltung'anak kumok tenkang.
Yayai and her family live in the Maasai steppe in Tanzania, far from the country's popular tourist attractions like Kilimanjaro or Zanzibar. They all live together in a boma. In Maasai culture, that's an extended household or a family unit with several houses built around a central cattle pen. This is their home.
Ore ninge irmaasai menje kiriki ake minyor. Kera ake ninye kiponu kilotu ake papa lino nikidumu ake orpayian. Hata duo itadua hati eto nikincho ake nilo duo kiyama nilato ndinalo nilo sinyamuku apa ilo payian. Ilaka anyorru milama duo tenilo tiang inyi ning'ua enkang inyi. Ayerita emutu. Ayerakita nkera endaa.
Ugali is not like a traditional part of the Maasai diet, is it?
It didn't used to be, but it is now. So now it has become their staple. But in the past, and you hear that also in the books when they explain to you about Maasai culture, and I think many people think that that's still true. They tell you they just eat milk and blood and maybe meat sometimes, but they don't do that anymore.
Oh, una kula.
Ladies first, eh?
Yeah.
Ni kanyo iti ara olta uno ijo iyelo kata aketa ingam non payama
Meti ngake tondu oltung'ani omikitiakini atara duo kiriki nigira ake ninkir nilo amu itorei duo oltung'anak nakata naleng etonyorra taata edimu ataata ore tenkataata etataata enyorru entito ormurrani naya kake miko apa nejia ore apa tiapa kake duo kinjooyo papa lino basi kake ore taata etonyorru entito ormurrani nelo. Lorore da kuna pookin duo natii boo mayiolo pae nanu toliki duo iyie siye tiaki duo tolimu.
Maasai, they don't count the cattle because it's considered bad luck to count how many cattle you have, so they don't do it.
Sari koma.
What about that one? What's her name?
This one's called Pemba.
Pemba. Like Pemba Island.
Like Pemba Island, yes. I gave her the name.
Oh. What about this one?
This one?
Yes.
It's called Namelok.
Adamura do bari kunya pa mara do furaha mayele na loito mara do furaha mayele na loito kake oduo pilotu ilo duo ainepu enkang natii siinche olorore basi nilatum furaha nenkaji ai ena nenkang ai ena nikitii orpayian lai onkera ainei.
Stephanie, how many people live in this boma?
I never counted, but I think it's about 40 maybe.
Oh, wow,
Yes.
nice community.
It's a big family. You're never alone. This is why Yaya likes this way of life. Because there's always people to talk with.
This is the Maasai way of showing, or the way of showing respect to elder Maasai.
Nyana enkaji enkaini ai nenyana enkaini ai.
Nice.
Wayangai kilikuan ada kanyo peata Maasai enkituak kumok.
Jetu sidai. Amu amu duo orpayian nkituak kumok amu ninche dii ninye eramatare ormaasai. Amu ninche inkituak kumok peeku eramatare enye amu nkera amu neiho deu nkera kumok ontoyie netumie mari.
O enkitok etumo atum orpayian kumok.
Metendamoi. Metum.
No.
Aewuo nanu are enkitok naewuo aiteru enaang nalotu aton metorikuni enkaini ai neitokini ariku enkae nekiponu atoni duo pookin tenebo. Ninche duo anyor enoshi anyor tukul metaa ore duo yari anyor aata duo enchipai anyor ina ini ai osinye perukuni na nikiponu atoni osinye nolong igili apuo ariku enkae nikinyor ake tukul. Enyor ayiok amu kitoni yiok tenebo. Ore naari yiok nikitoni yiok tenebo neking'ar endaa tenebo nekinyorra nenyorra nkera ang.
For us, it doesn't exist like this because we were raised to not think about it.
Aji nanu pasupen namenaja nenya nasunanu enkaji ai nenya nankaini tokaine nenya nankeraine otu dinatoyio kuna natolele duo ntai miyeudi neosha family ai otu duo ntai tenabudo
mekiata yiok ina amaata nanu nemeeta sinche kunda aini nitaine metaa niking'asa yiok aataning ina naji duo agora mahomo orpayian endaji au mikiata yiok tukul metaa ore nche yiok kitubulutua ake duo meeta ina toki metaa nche dii ninye sanu ai najoki ninye kanyo ntai piatata nejia metaa ayieu sinanu narripieki aiparr ajoki kanyo ntai pitiu nejia ore tanche yiok pikitoni kira kumok toonkang'itie nina toki mikiata na yiok pikira kumok kitii enkang nabo metaa nche sanai naiparr ajoki pakanyo ntai payie timiyieunono onkaini miyieu orpayian etenkaini.
Stephanie, tell us a little bit about your story. How did you get here?
I got here, first time I came here was in 2011 because I had met Sokoine on Mafia Island where I was working as a research volunteer. And he was working there also as security guard for a dive center. And I already spoke Swahili at that point and I was trying to speak Swahili to him a little bit. But he didn't seem so interested. He was like quite shy. But then someone, after maybe 3 weeks on the island, told me that he likes me. And I was like, what? Crazy. Because I didn't think that he would like me at all. But so we got talking and then we ended up being together. And then my contract had ended and I wanted to stay in Tanzania and I wanted to stay with him. So I said, hey, let's go to your traditional Maasai home because for me, I thought this was the only way for me to keep hold of him. I knew if I left him, we wouldn't be together anymore. So, yeah.
And so you've been living here for how long?
9 years now.
9 years. In this Maasai village.
Yeah, in this Maasai village.
Stephanie recently went viral on YouTube when she appeared in a video telling the story of her marriage to Sokoine, her Maasai husband. The video got over 10 million views to date.
Metaa epaaha pae amu inyor iyie teniton openy orpayian lino. Oyo nemekinyor iyiok tenee nanu openy. Mayieu nanu nenu ake openy naton orpayian. Ayieu nanu orpayian lai oota nkulie kituak nikiponu atoni openy. Ata amu amadi tarangi tene matejo duo kamadama tarangi mekipuo aulo tidie nikipuo atoni niking'adunye duo iyiok kuna lorore pookin nikipuo iyiok atoni tiaulo aanyu osim hata metii orpayian. Oyie nkeri iyie tono metaa orpayian inyayie osim. Metaa epaaha pae.
Ijoito ehora iyieu nijoki iyiok ruko sindai nkaini.
Ayo najoki ntae iruko siyie nkaini amu sidai. Ore ntae nkias ntae itubulunye ilo kuak linyi inyor oltung'ani openy. Ore ninche irmaasai nenyor ninche enkang sapuk natii iltung'anak kumok neteneyau lolo tung'anak neponu ake anyorru ometotoni pookin tenebo enyorra. Metaa ebaiki penejo sentai tiku nkias ntae miyieu. Sentai ntae tatanji pimiyiololo nkias siyie itubulunye ena tonata orpayian openy. Basi nimoku siyie. Asi nikitamoo pa iyiok tatanji ena mikiyieu tatanji iyiok orpayian lenkitoo nabo lenye ake openy nalo atonu orpayian lino.
Then yes.
Why do you think it's so difficult for us, raised in the so-called West, to understand the Maasai way of love and marriage?
I think because I had to question myself that same thing, because it takes a lot of time for us and a lot of effort to get out of the ways or the system or the way of thinking that we have been raised to think, to believe. Like our thoughts, our Western thoughts on love and marriage and even what is right, what is wrong. We have been raised with these thoughts from when we were little. Of course, that we think when we grow up that this is the only way to live. But then actually when you travel and you meet other people and you talk to them, especially when you talk to them in their own language, when you really get to understand how they think, then you realize that actually my way of thinking is not the only way of thinking. And right and left and good and bad, these are like very, they can be defined in many different ways. So it's difficult because we have to let go of everything that we have ever been taught is right. So you have to let go of that, and that's really difficult, I think.
Tena kito nata tiatua duo enanyorra oeninyi. Enangisine.
Kanyo.
Ndaya nyorrata ngamu. Tapa eninya nang enyorrata sidai amu ore ntae ndanyorrata nenkena intae nyorrata neltung'anak oora onyorra. Oyo nikinyorra yiok kira iltung'anak kumok. Metaa ajoito nanu nanyorrata ngisidai oltung'anak kumok.
Kaetu orkaiki lorpayian lino. Tolimota yiok.
Alimu tadu. Inyalde orpayian lai amu kuyate orpayian lai. Nesidai orpayian lai. Yake okihok ake sidai. Amu kindipa di maisha pokira. Sidai orpayian lai. Etu ana mokore yieu nesuj. Metaa etu ana pai mokore suj. Ana mokore yieu toki nesuj. Eliak ajo epal amu etu ana mokore yieu nesuj. Lorore lonkituak kumok. Etu ana mokore yieu nesuj. Mee enkop duo naibelekenya. Ninche ibelekenya enkop. Mokore etu ana apa. Ibelekenya pa enkop amu idolta daje etayiolo ntokitin kumok. Paake meta nche yieu siinche irmaasai ning'ua orkuak lenye. Metaa eyieu ning'ua orkuak lenye.
And it's not just the marriage customs that are changing around here. The Maasai, who still live a traditional pastoral lifestyle, have been witnessing huge shifts in how they raise their cattle. Unexpected droughts as a result of the changing climate, or new and expanding farmlands encroaching upon traditional Maasai pastures. These are just some of the factors changing this traditional way of life as we speak. That was Yayai and her perspective on marriage. Now, look, I know it's not all rainbows and butterflies, and I know that I, as a Mzungu, an outsider, a white foreigner, will never hear about even half of the problems that people in Maasai marriages face. But I hope that what this video gave you is a slightly different perspective on how family structures can work, and that there is no single answer to what a good marriage should be. Every culture has its own version, and it's all about how we were raised and the ideas of romance and love and marriage that we've internalized along the way. Well, I hope you enjoyed this vlog and that you got a slightly different and new perspective out of it. That's all I can ask. I want to give a big shout out to Stephanie, who invited me to her village and who enabled this conversation, who actually made it happen. A massive thank you to Yaya for sharing her story, and to you for coming here with an open mind. Alright, I guess I'll see you in the next one.